The first time she called me Dad, I froze. Not because I didn't want to hear it, but because I never thought I deserved to. Her name was Aisha. She was 6 when I met her, a quiet little girl with deep brown eyes that looked older than her years. She was my daughter, the unspoken part of the deal when I fell in love with her mother. I remember the first time we met, she didn't run to greet me, didn't smile shyly, didn't even speak. She simply studied me from behind her mother's leg, as if trying to figure out if I was going to be another temporary person in her life. Her father had left when she was just a baby. From what I'd heard, he hadn't so much as sent a birthday card in years. That explained the wall she'd built, the way she never used the word dad for anyone. At first, I didn't try to force my way in. I'd simply show up at school events, at her soccer games, at the dinner table. I learned her favorite cereal brand, figured out she hated peas, and noticed she drew little stars in the corners of every paper she worked on. Slowly, she began letting me in. A smile here. Question there. Then, one evening, she left her tablet on the couch and asked, "Can you fix it for me?" It was the first time she'd asked me for help. It was small, but to me it felt like the first crack in the wall. Months passed. I learned her bedtime routine, how she liked her hair tied in 2 loose braids before sleeping, and how she hated thunderstorms but pretended she didn't. One night, during a particularly loud storm, I found her sitting by the hallway light, hugging her blanket. She didn't say anything, but when I sat next to her, she leaned into me. We didn't talk, but I think she knew without words that I wasn't going anywhere. Then came the day we were at the park. She'd been playing on the swings while I pushed her higher and higher. Her mother was on a bench nearby, scrolling through her phone. As I gave her one last push, she looked back over her shoulder and yelled, "Higher, Dad!" I stopped. She didn't even seem to realize what she'd said. She just laughed, waiting for me to push her again. My hands trembled as I gave her another gentle shove, my throat tight. I couldn't say anything right then. I was afraid I'd cry in the middle of a children's playground. That night, when I tucked her into bed, I finally whispered, "You called me Dad today." Her small face looked confused for a moment, then she grinned. "Yeah, you were right." I don't know how I kept it together. From then on, the word became natural. She'd call out Dad when she was scared, when she wanted help with homework, or when she scored a goal at soccer and wanted to make sure I'd seen. And every time it hit me like a gift I never thought I'd receive. But it wasn't always perfect. There were days she'd pull away. Days she'd test me perhaps to see if I'd give up like others had. There was one time, during a particularly bad argument over bedtime, she shouted, "You're not my real dad." It felt like a knife to the chest. I quietly told her, maybe not by blood, but I love you like one. She stormed off. The next morning, I found a drawing on the kitchen counter. It was of the 3 of us, her mom, and me holding hands. Above it, in wobbly handwriting, she'd written, "My family." Years later, I walked her down the aisle at her high school graduation. When they announced her name, she looked straight at me and mouthed, "Thanks, Dad." In that moment, I realized something: being a father isn't about biology. It's about showing up, staying through the storms, and loving without condition. The first time she called me Dad, it was accidental, but every time after that, it was on purpose. And those words became the most precious thing I've ever earned.